may seem like a pretty basic thing right here, and it's how to use these full sheets of sandpaper efficiently. And this is my opinion, and it's based on years and hundreds of, I can't say hundreds of thousands, but definitely thousands of sheets of sandpaper that I've gone through. And I find that the best thing to do with these is to cut them in quarter sizes. And I made this little jig here a few years ago. I got a video on that. There'll be a link to that in the description. And what it does is it conveniently cuts these sheets into those sizes. Right here I've got one that's already cut in half, and I slide that in, and there's marks on the side here to line it up. And then I just run this across, and a sharpened washer will do the cutting. So it cuts it into this size. And this size is handy because, first of all, it fits in hand sanders. I know I have my ultimate sander around here somewhere. Hold on, I'll get it. Here it is. And the way this works is this takes a quarter sheet. And there are palm sanders, of course, too, that take quarter sheets. And this sheet is pretty much worn out, so I'll put a new one in here. And this is sized exactly for this size piece of sandpaper. So put it in there, bend it over, all that fun stuff. Put the handle back on, lock it in, and it's ready to go. The other thing about this size sandpaper, if you're doing hand sanding, it's really efficient to fold it over into thirds the long way, like this. And that way you have three fresh surfaces to use. You start off with this one here, then you flip it over and you use the back side there. When that's worn out, you open it up and you put the other side out, and you get the most out of your sandpaper that you possibly can. Like for instance here, I'm going to be using this because the parts on the end here that actually flap up inside the thing here are still good. So I'll be getting, you know, a lot of use out of that. Anyway, so I got a full sheet here. This is heavier grit, 60 grit. And I'm just going to slip that in. Now, if I had my time back with this jig, there's one thing I would have done is to allow a bit more space for the sheet to go through. So if you were going to make this jig, I recommend that you make it a little bit longer this way. Also, space it up off the sheet a little bit more so it makes it easier for these thicker sheets, because this one's pretty thick to slip in. No problem getting the other ones in, but a little bit of a struggle with these thicker ones. But we'll get there. If we don't get there, I'll fucking edit it out. How about that? I'm getting close to that right now, actually. Oi, oi. So we got our sheet in finally, and that lines up with the ends of the jig. All right, you just run your washer across that, and it makes a clean cut. In the thinner paper, it works best for, but still works great for this thicker stuff. And then do it again here, like this. Make your other cut, and voila. I keep this jig in my cabinet there that's holding up the spindle sander. Doesn't really have a name. Spindle sander cabinet. I also keep my sheets of sandpaper in there, so it's very convenient. I'll just pull it out. As you can see, it is quite dusty and dirty, but like I say, I built this a few years ago, and every time I need to cut a sheet of paper, I use this. There are other jigs out there that use hacksaw blades. I made one of those before. I didn't like it. Basically, kind of the same problem with the fitting the sheet in. Also, this is sized correctly for the accurate cuts, and when you put your pencil lines on here, you can cut your sheet in half exactly and not have to mess around. And you know what? It also cuts on the backstroke, which is an added bonus. Like that.